This one is 8. Here's another one. The answer is 7. This one goes until the bell goes off. You must make it to the desk and touch it before the bell. 18 is the answer. Warm-up quiz. The answer for this one should be x minus 6. All right, for the test, we had Holiday with an A, Woodrow with an A+, Storms with an A+, Preston with an A+. Here comes the review. Number 1 is x squared plus 9x plus 42, remainder 16. The remainder on this one should be 216. I had it on my key, I just didn't put the 2 in here when I made the solution guide. And 2 is x, remainder negative 2. 3 is 4x to the third minus 30x squared plus 235x minus 1873, remainder 14,981. 4 is 3x minus 11, remainder 34. Number 5 is x to the third minus 5x squared plus 16x minus 35, remainder 72. 6 is 6x minus 28, remainder 164. 7 is negative 2x squared minus 3x minus 1, remainder 4. 8 is x plus 2, remainder 2. 9 is 5x minus 20, remainder 110. 10 is x squared plus 4x plus 23, remainder 135. The extra credit, A is 38, B is 11, C is negative 13, D is 11, E is negative 67. Homework check if you have everything worked out on notebook paper. 7 out of 8 with homework, that's 88%. If you have homework today, then pick a number from 1 to 20 for a chance at 20 points. The winning number is 14. Here's a fast multiple choice for 5 points. Bring me the block letter only. Since all of these come out evenly, you have to think, what am I going to multiply 9 by to get 54? And it would be 6, but notice there was a plus sign, so it has to be this one, not this one. Here are the homework answers. Check to see what you have right and wrong, and then we'll go through any questions after we go through these 5 problems. Number 1 is 3x to the fourth minus 10x to the third plus 17x squared minus 32x plus 63. Remainder negative 120. 2 is x to the third minus 5x squared minus 7x minus 3. Remainder 7. 3 is negative x squared minus 7x minus 27. Remainder negative 143. Actually, that should be a negative 147. A negative 147 for the remainder. 4 is 6x plus 26, remainder 119. And 5 is negative 5x minus 7, remainder negative 26. Say the answer out loud when you think you know it.
$24x
24x to the fifth is right.
5x. No, just 5.
Just 5.
Oh, yeah. 3x to the 13.
Yes.
4x. 6x to the 2x to the third. 1x to the fourth.
X
X to the fourth. That's the same thing.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. Look on the board.
First.
Oh, yeah, look up those.
6x to the fourth. 7x to the third. Negative 12x to the...
Here's a lottery for everybody. The winning number is 2.
I was going to pick 2.
Today's objective: understand the relationship between zeros and factors of a polynomial. Identify zeros of polynomials when suitable factorizations are available, and use the zeros to construct a rough graph of the function defined by the polynomial. Well, to even get into all of this, we have to add this to what we should know how to do by now for factoring. Up to this point, you should know something like a difference of two squares, like x squared minus 9 can be factored as x plus 3, x minus 3. You should also know that from one of the tests that we took that you could do x squared plus 5, a sum of two squares, even though 5 is not a square. Remember how that comes out with the imaginary number, which I don't have room to write in here. It becomes complex. You should also know how to factor like this. You should know how to factor something like x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0, which would come out to be plus 6 minus 2. You should also know how to factor. You should know how to factor like this, which is x to the third plus 3x squared minus 4x. I can take an x out of everything and make it look like this. And then once I have that, I could possibly factor it some more in some cases. In this case, yeah, you could make it x plus 4, x minus 1, and still have your x out there. When we take a test over factoring, the directions will say just factor. It's not going to tell you that it's a difference of two squares, sum of two squares, factor by grouping, all that stuff. It's just, if it's factorable, factor it completely. Here's a pre-test. This is what we're going to study, and this should be a capital A. There we go. Does anyone have an idea of how to factor this before we start today? All right, so that's like a pre-test thing, so I know everybody's starting at 0. Storms, you think you can factor that out? All right. Well, you're going to factor by grouping, which means you have to group these together. I could start with these two and then group these two together. I could have done this and this, since they both have an A, and this together, since they both have an X. But I'm going to start with the first two. So I'm going to group these together, ax squared plus 2x to the third. And then naturally, these two would be in a group together. One thing you must remember for this lesson is that if your second grouping has a term, the first term of the second grouping, if it's negative, then you must leave that minus sign outside the second set of parentheses. and change the sign of both of these when you put them in. So 9a plus 18x. Notice what happens if you multiply back. Negative 1 times 9a, negative 1 times 18x, it takes you right back to there. That's why we have to get rid of this, put it outside, and then change these when you go inside. That's only when the first term of your second grouping has a negative sign there. And we'll go through more of that later. So once you have them grouped together, what do both of these terms in that first group have in common? They have an x. What's the highest power of x I can take out? 2. Yeah, I can take out an x squared. Can I take anything else out from both of those? No, you can't take anything else out. So now you have to go backwards, and what do you multiply x squared by to get ax squared? A. And what do I multiply x squared by to get 2x to the third? 2x, yes. Alright, so go to your second one. 9a and 18x. What do they both have in common? You can divide them both by what? 9. You can divide them both by 3, but then the highest number that comes out is 9. So we have to use a 9. What do I multiply 9 by to get 9a? Not 1, just a. And what do I multiply 9 by to get 18x? 2x, yeah. Do you notice a pattern in here? What's the pattern? Yeah, they're the same. This and this. Whenever you get to this point, you're going to know that you've done it right, or at least it's factorable by grouping. If you have the exact same quantities here and here, you're on the right track. So to finish this, you only write one of these quantities once, a plus 2x. And then your second one is comprised of the outside terms, including the sign in front of them. So x squared minus 9. In most ordinary cases, this would be your final answer. But there is a particular quantity in there that can still be simplified, that can still be factored out. Which one of those, a plus 2x or x squared minus 9, can still be factored out? Not the 2x. It would be the x squared minus 9. What kind of term is x squared? Starts with an S. Q. It's a square. 9 is also a perfect square. What is this sign here? Or it's a minus sign. What's the answer to a minus problem? Starts with a D. I. F. Difference, yes. So I have a difference of 2 what? Difference of 2 squares. So when I have a difference of 2 squares, I can still factor it out like this. What's the square root of x squared? X. Square root of 9. Alternate the signs. This would be the final answer in this case. Not all of them have a difference of 2 squares in them. Most of the problems will end up looking like this, except they won't be a difference of 2 squares. Okay, so here's an expression, and it has 4 terms in it. We want to try to factor it by grouping. You have to pick out 2 terms, they don't have to be back to back, that have something in common. Can you give me 2 terms in here that have something in common? 4ab and 4ab minus 7b? Alright, we'll use that. Holiday says 4ab minus 7b. So write it out. 4ab minus 7b in the first set. Your second set is 12ax minus 21x. Notice that the first term of your second set does not have a minus sign. So you can just put a plus in there and write it as it appears. It should be 4ab. There we go. 12ax minus 21x. So we can go back, and actually I want to make that look a little nicer, so I'll cancel it out with blue and then go back and write a B. Monk was my favorite TV show. This is something he would have done. Go back and cancel stuff out and write it more neatly. Alright, so in the first set, what can I take out of 4AB and 7B? I can take a B out. Is there anything else?
4.
Can't take a 4 out of 7. Can't subtract. It's got to be multiplication.
Well,
So just the B, and what do I multiply B by to get 4AB?
4A.
4A, and what do I multiply B by to get 7B?
Negative 7.
Negative 7. Alright, so over here, 12AX minus 21X. What do they have in common? They do have an X in common. Anything else? How about a 3? 3 goes into 12. How many times? 4 and into 21? 7. Yeah, so you can take out a 3X. So 3X times 4A would give me 12AX. And 3X times a negative 7 would give me negative 21X. Do I have the same quantity here and here? Yes, so we just write it once. And what's the second quantity is the B plus 3X. There's nothing more you can do to this or this. So this is the final answer. Example 2. There are your 4 terms. Can you pick out 2 terms that have something in common? 16AX and
4AB and 9B.
okay, so you want to go here, 4AB and 9B. We'll try those 2. So we will write those out. Whoops, didn't mean to put a set of parentheses in there. Hopefully I can just cancel that out with the X. Yeah, I'll just start again. So it would be 4AB plus 9B. We've used this one and this one. So now these are your second quantity. And notice there's a plus sign on the first one, so you just put a plus sign there. Now what can I take out of 4AB and 9B? B, yeah, that's it. And I would be left with a 4A plus 9. What can I take out of the second one?
16.
16 won't come out of 36.
I said that wasn't 30.
6 won't come out of 16. 4 is the highest. That will come out of both 16 and 36. Can we take an A or an X out? Yeah, we can take an X out. So I would have to have 4A plus 9 in this one as well. So notice they're both the same here. So 4A plus 9 and then B plus 4X. There's nothing more you can do to those, so that's your final answer. See how you do on this very first one. For this problem, you can group them however you want. I'm going to go this way. 16xy minus 72y. And that would give me 18x minus 81. Notice how by doing this I avoid the negative sign in the middle, where if I had chosen these two I would have to put a minus sign in the middle and then change the sign of each one in the second quantity. Alright, so we'll go here, let's use green. I can take out a y from each of these. Looks like I can also take out a 4. No, I can take out an 8. So 8y will give me 2x minus 9. And then over here I can take out a 9 and be left with 2x minus 9. So those are the same. 2x minus 9 and then 8y plus 9. You can have these reversed, like this quantity here and vice versa. Answer to the bonus is 4. The answer is 16 on the bonus.